Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Live from the Sword Coast podcast. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly dungeon master this evening. Tonight, we are down several of our players for our usual sessions, and as you may notice, I am not in my usual location. I am, in fact, still on vacation and in Winnipeg. So tonight, we are doing a special one-shot. That's going to be a bit of a short one, where we are playing one of my oldest and most favorite games, Champions, the Super Hero Roleplaying Game. So Champions was the first, and to some people's minds, the best superhero role-playing game. So I thought it'd be fun to revisit that tonight with two of my stalwart players. First up in person with me and playing host is Brent.
Hi. And
joining us from my hometown, or not hometown, my current hometown, is Steve-O. Yo. So, guys, our scene opens tonight on a rainy jungle work camp. We see that there's this rain that's pounding down on this road. There's a big gate that's guarded by two African men. They're dressed in sort of like the kind of khakis that you'd see in like a 30s or 40s kind of army. And as they're standing in the rain with this pounding down, it's nighttime. This car, or like I guess like kind of like a Jeep type thing, comes rolling up to the gate. One of the men walks over and inspects and nods to the guy behind the wheel. The gate goes up, and all this guy rolls in. We follow the Jeep along, and we see that it goes rolling past this massive open pit mining operation. The jungle swirls all around. And that's when we see the white lettering go across the screen. 1937. Katanga, Belgian Congo. As the Jeep pulls around, we see that there are a number of miners working here, of course, all African as well. And who steps out of the vehicle is an older white man who is met by another white man, this time in a uniform, who says to him in French, Mr. Sendier is waiting for you inside. And this is in French and it's subtitled. So the man who steps out, he's dressed in a like tan suit, and he plunks an umbrella up, but it's really not doing much against the pounding rain. He walks inside the long kind of like foreman's office for this mine. And we see a sign as well outside. And the sign says, Shinkolo, hold on, I gotta struggle with this name. Shinkolobwe mine. And underneath that, it says as well, Union Mineral de Haute Katanga, or UMHK, a Belgian company. Man walks in, and he's met by another man. And this is an older guy. He's in his late 50s, white as well, dressed in a very fine suit. And the man who walks in seems a little perturbed at this. And he says, "What are you doing? So why are you acting? Why are you pumping the mine?" And the other man says, "They paid. They paid good." And the other man says, "There's no market for radium anymore. What's the point?" And the other man shrugs and says, "They want to pay, then we pump." And as the other man sort of looks at there's some blueprints that are sitting on the desk in front of him, in front of the older gentleman. He looks at these, and he says, "Where did these come from?" And the older gentleman, with kind of a smile cooking the top of his or the corner of his mouth, he says, "They supplied it." And the man who came from the vehicle, he looks down and looks up at them and says, "Then we can keep these?" He says, "Part of the deal. As I said, they pay." The man looks back. "When do you expect to be in production?" And the older man says, "Within the month." And the other says, "Very well. We're producing uranium again." And then we see it cut outside the the building, and we see just sort of the long window where these men are talking to each other. One of them goes over. We can't hear what they're saying any longer. Walks over, pours a brandy for the other one, and they sort of have a toast. And the camera then pans out, and we see, again, a massive open pit mine. But as the camera goes over, we see one shaft where there are a bunch of hoses that are running out. And you can hear choo, 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 some machine is running, and they're pumping water out. The scene then sort of, the camera falls down into the mine shaft. It fades to black. And then our camera pans out from black to show a road. This is a highway. And the white lettering now says, today. And as the thing pans up, we see a car drive underneath the camera and was driving along. This is a highway. It looks like a highway anywhere you could, picture in the Western United States or Western Canada. There are thick forests, coniferous forests that are stretching out on either side. There's probably some kind of modern music playing over the soundtrack. And the vehicle is a very solid-looking sedan. And the sedan is driving along, and then it, or maybe it's like a black kind of SUV type thing, an oversized SUV. Drives along, and then it hits this point where it slows, hits the turn signal, and turns off down this rough dirt trail. As we are following this thing along, the camera shifts, and we can see inside the vehicle. Behind the vehicle, or so behind the wheel, is a FBI agent in his like mid-30s-ish?
Yeah.
Okay. What does he look like?
I will make something up because I, so the people at home, I had been playing this. This is an old character. I've played him a couple times in different systems.
Yeah.
Probably the most recent, I don't know, 5-10 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Recent. So yeah, no idea what he looks like. I will go with a black short cropped hair.
Who plays him? If we're going to cast him.
You know what? Let's go with young, like Matrix Keanu Reeves at the beginning when he's wearing his suit.
Okay, nice.
Before he is introduced.
Sure. Yeah. So it's thin, really short cropped hair, clean shaven, and then sitting next to him is another man. In what, Steve? How old is he?
Oh, let's go with 28.
28. So he's much younger.
Yeah.
What is he dressed like, and who plays him?
We're gonna have to go with Jim Morrison from The Doors, and and he's wearing a suede leather jacket. He's got some necklaces with some pendants on it and some bracelets, and he's got about shoulder length wavy hair, and he's wearing some cowboy boots and jeans.
Okay, nice. And actually, I forgive me. He's actually in the back seat, and in the seat in the driver's seat, or I'm sorry, in the passenger seat, the front passenger seat, there is another agent. Whose name is Davies, and he is played by, let's see, I think he's played by Kiefer Sutherland, let's say.
Nice.
So they're driving along, and you got this guy in the back seat, this crazy-looking hippie. Now, the world that this inhabits, guys, is a world of superheroes. This is, it's not the DC universe, it's not the Marvel universe, but I think the best way to think of it is like one of the cinematic universes. This is Champions, the game we're playing, plays in a very, like, it feels like a simulationist kind of game. So, and it feels very, it can be very deadly for superhero combat. So I think that if you think of it in the cinematic context, that's going to be accord more with your expectations. Things happen like there are things that can happen in comic books where if they happened on screen, they would look ridiculous because the transition between panels aren't as jarring as the transition between scenes. This will play more like the movie because Champions is not an effort to try and simulate comic books. It's a role-playing game where you happen to play superheroes. So as context for you guys, so I mentioned to Brent before we went live, Matt in this version is, Agent O'Connor, I should say, is an FBI agent, but he's part of a special detail that effectively deals with like high value, antiquities that have potential occult power. So if you sort of think of like, it's a unit that's a cross between like an art theft or art smuggling unit with a unit tracking WMDs. That's what his particular unit is. Your character, obviously, Steve, your character is a little more morally flexible, I think, and certainly less institution bound. Mm-hmm. But what he is an expert in occult lore. Do you want to maybe give a quick description for Brent and for the viewers at home? What is Sylvester Leopold or natural disaster like?
Indeed, he's a wanderer. He's a bit like Hansel from Zoolander. He has always had a talent and a gift for the occult. He's got a natural touch. He's got his it's karma meets chaos. And it's sort of I call it sort of karmic magic, and so as a result of that, he always was compelled to sort of travel the world and looking for knowledge and looking for ways to expand his power. And in so doing, you got the travel bug, and he's a bit of a party animal. Yeah. Okay.
He also seeks out objects of power, from what I remember too, right?
Oh yes, amulets and bracelets and tattoos. Yeah.
And I think that he has sometimes, if I recall, he has somewhat flexible beliefs in terms of ownership.
Exactly. He's more of a, he's a bit communal in his sense of ownership, He borrows things occasionally.
So what's happened in the background before this thing? The reason you've fallen in with these guys is partly because you were actually tracking the thing that Agent O'Connor and Agent Davies are tracking. And also partly because someone who ran afoul of one of your, I don't want to say scams, because it's not, I don't think that's what you intended, but one of your transactions was a little pissed with you. So the fact that the FBI was able to help and intervene, maybe you're paying back in a karmic kind of way to them to try and track down this thing.
That would make sense.
So what's happened in the background, guys, is there is an artifact that was smuggled in to the U.S. This scene takes place in Oregon, and sort of like backwoods Oregon as well. So you can picture, basically, I mean, like, we're all familiar with sort of what, the foothills of Alberta are like, and it looks very, very much like that. So for those listening at home, if you can picture sort of rolling hills, big mountains in the background, like in the distance, with thick forests that fill up a lot of the foothills as well. That's what we're driving through right now on a gravel road. You guys have tracked this. There is something that very, very powerful that came in from it came in through a Chinese shipping container, but you think that it originated somewhere in Japan or maybe the Philippines. It seems to be something of significant power, and the reason you think that is because your oracular sort of scryings, Steve, have revealed there's danger coming. Like there's bad juju that's sort of on the horizon with this. And that's the scuttlebutt you've heard in sort of, I imagine that some of your contacts are in sort of like the mystic community of this world as well too. You've got like, the tarot reader in Seattle, or the Wiccan who, lives in Big Sur in California, right? Like you're in touch with all these mystics, and this is sort of what's coming. Something is coming to a very big head, which is why I mentioned the WMDs, is because this seems like a mystic WMD is potentially in the mix here. The other point of concern for you guys is that where this is being delivered is to someone who seems to have suddenly appeared there's no record of this person existing really before about the late 90s. And then this person seems to have some online interactions with militia groups. So the combination of like a militia or right-wing extremist group getting their hands on some kind of catastrophically powerful mystic artifact the idea of a Doctor Strange meets Ted Kaczynski kind of incident is really why you guys are interested in this, and you've just found where this thing was delivered, or you're fairly confident of that. I'm picturing that you've done some asking around in some of the local towns. You've done your legwork, and you've heard that there is a man who clean cut, short hair, white guy who speaks with either an Eastern European or maybe Dutch accent, who lives in this sort of acreage that was purchased off in the middle of nowhere. And the locals think that he actually might live with someone. And I think that they spoke to you because they hate the FBI. So that's probably the way that things went. Or maybe, no, you know what? Maybe you plucked it out of their minds with telepathy.
Right.
Now, one of the hallmarks of the FBI is that they do things rigorously. Like they have a certain way that they follow the steps. One potential problem there is they do things methodically, is what I mean. Okay. One problem I see with you using your telepathy to gain this information, though, is that it's inadmissible. So if there is to get a conviction for this person, if what you're relying on is anything that was obtained because of this mind reading, it will be inadmissible in court. So do you think you've been asking around, or do you think you've been using your telepathy to sort of...
So just to make sure I understand.
Sure.
So if I used telepathy to find out that there's an illegal object, and then I got the object, would that object then be inadmissible even if I physically found it?
Yeah, it's called fruit of the poison tree. So anything that when the rights violation occurs, anything that comes after that is potentially excluded. So I don't know what the specific test is in the States for that. I know what it is here, but okay. From what I understand, it's the same broad principles that if you get something, so if you got information that there were other people there, then that might not be germane to finding this stuff, because you have found you've tracked this whatever artifact is to this location using other methods, okay. Proper methods that could actually get a conviction. But the what do you call it? The telepathy stuff, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I guess I'll be careful to use it indirectly when filling a case. And just to clarify mechanically,
yep.
Telepathy is like the surface stuff, and mind reading would be the mind scan would be the more in depth.
No, mind scan is to identify living things. Okay. Remember, that's the one that allows you to scan out, see if there's minds in there, and then maybe make contact with them.
Right.
Telepathy is the one where you're actually getting in and getting the information. So, so you guys are driving up. And let me quickly make a luck check here. So that's what brings us to right now. Okay. Go.
And have I worked with Sylvester before in the past?
You guys maybe met up in actually San Francisco. You guys met up in San Francisco where this had come in, or maybe it's LA. I guess the shipping yards in LA are probably bigger than. San Francisco? Probably San Francisco is further north, because it's going to. I'm going to say San Francisco just because it's further north. So this thing, however it came in through San Francisco. That's where you found Sylvester looking around, and I think maybe you've heard of him before, but nothing that sticks. He's lucky that way.
So do you think we're aware of each other's special abilities, Steve, or is that sort of on the down low between us?
I guess you probably know of mine. I don't know if you've told me about yours, but I can detect magic, so I might be able to.
He's not magic.
He's not magic?
Okay. No.
And you're lucky?
Steve, let me see what skills you've got here. Let's see if there's any.
So do you have any avert-like stuff, or are you just sort of really, really lucky with things?
His stuff is really magic-oriented. Steve, give me a deduction check here. I take it, are you trying to conceal your psychic kind of?
Not if we have a working relationship, then Steve would probably, or Sylvester would probably know
about
Matt's abilities. But if we're complete strangers, then Probably not. So I just wanted to figure out, did we want to establish being friends and being aware of what each other can do?
Yeah, sure, maybe you came clean to me so you could, set the story straight and put us on an even footing before we sort of start working together. Yeah.
All right. So what Matt can do, his sort of big powers is he's telepathic, and he drains people's willpowers or willpower. So he sort of makes them really docile. And he can also project mental illusions. So sort of, I guess, like mystical, except they're only visible to certain people in their minds. So everyone else can't see them.
Interesting.
And so your guy does like detect magic and luck?
Well, he's got some luck. He can detect magic. He's got some sort of pretty powerful sort of magical attacks. And he also can sort of debuff people a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
He can set people into basically a mental fugue. Where it's built as a mental entangle. So they're kind of stuck, and they need to sort of like, it's like brain freeze.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. The combo, honestly, of the two things, the drain and that would be a pretty effective way of eliminating powerful targets.
Good, because we don't have much muscle.
Yeah, my direct combat is really my sidearm. That's my and I can also make short term. I can do like a force field, but I think is it limited to me?
Just to you.
Yeah.
Although you could. So one of the things you guys can do is the way that we sort of track how much effort you can put into your powers is through your endurance stat. What you can do is, if you want to push your abilities or you want to change them, so you're using them in a different way, you can do that just like in sort of like we do in Mutants Masterminds, but it costs you basically 5 times the endurance to do it. So it's really like, like really straining yourself. Yeah. So we'll bear that in mind. So like if you say you wanted to extend your thing, that's a good example of actually reducing effect, or rather like sharing, you're spreading it for effect.
Right.
So I would probably say that I'd reduce, what's your shield? 10 resistance?
Right.
And how many active points? How many points is that?
3 under
Oh, no, that's endurance. What is the number over there?
24.
24. So I think what I'd say is 8. I would say that it would cost, it's 24 points cost to get your 10. I'd probably say it would be down to 8 if you extend it out. Well, hello there.
Oh.
Somebody's back from their bath. Good night, you. I get a hug?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. You have a really good time at your bowling tomorrow.
I'm gonna go bowling.
I know, that's exciting.
Bowling. Daddy, you made a stop sign.
Oh yeah. It does look like a stop sign, doesn't it?
It is a stop sign.
Okay.
You all clean?
Wanna smell my hair?
Sure. Oh, so clean.
Good night.
Good night, Kaden.
Good night.
Okay, so as you guys are rolling along, basically you're coming up to this Oregon compound.
Right.
Davies is just going to take the lead from you. So you're going to decide how you guys want to approach this.
Sorry, one quick question.
Of course.
Are all the powers, they use endurance? How quickly does endurance get recovered?
There's 2 ways you do it. Is you'll notice that you guys have what's called a speed stat. Your speed stat tells you how many times you get to act in a given turn. Those are, so I think both of you guys have a speed of 5. I know you guys do. A turn is divided up into 12 phases, and on each of those, on certain of those phases, you guys get to act. So both of you guys, because you have the same speed, act on 3, 5, 8, 10, and 12. We'll go through that as we go, and there are other things that you'll find that will have slower speeds, faster speeds, whatever. That just means they get to act more often. If you spend your action doing a recover, where you kind of and catch your breath, you get to get your stun and endurance back equal to your recovery stat, your rec. In addition, there is a post-segment 12 recovery that everybody gets to do. So when you hit at the end of number 12, everybody gets to get a little bit back. What you do not get back is your body. Your body takes a lot longer to recover, and stats also take a lot longer to recover. The difference between stun and body is like stun is just sort of the bruising and non-lethal damage that you can kind of bounce back from fairly easily. It'll eventually hurt you if you get beat down too much, but it's not life-threatening. Body damage is killing damage. If you lose all your body, you die. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what and it just as an FYI, that's one of the endurance mechanic is one of my favorite things about this game, because I just love the idea of, you know, that you have to take that breather, you know, or there's that last minute kind of recovery where someone catches their breath, you know, and manages to stay away from the bad guy for long enough to get their, you know, their moxie back and then dive back into the fight. Okay, so you guys have parked maybe like, let's say a mile away from the compound. You guys get out of the vehicle, and the FBI agents are probably dressed casually because just, you know, you're going through the woods, but with the FBI windbreakers on, those, you know, blue with yellow lettering. I'm guessing that Sylvester is not going to wear that.
Nah, he's wearing a suede jacket.
Yeah.
Do we have our flak jackets and stuff with the big FBI thing on them?
You do not have flak jackets on, no, because you are. They're probably in the vehicle if you need them, but you're not. I don't.
Yeah, unless we were expecting something.
Yeah, unless you're expecting something, I wouldn't suggest that. Right now, it's a matter of. From what you're understanding, it's you know, it's one dude. I think I said something otherwise, but as far as you know, it's one dude on his own. This is living in a kind of a cabin kind of thing. So, yeah. Does that sound like how you guys would approach this thing, or?
Yeah.
At this point, okay. So, what are you guys going to do? There is a road entrance to this. It's a very old road, but I think past experience with these types of groups suggests that those roads are usually monitored with some kind of electronic surveillance. So you can, I guess the first thing, do you guys think you want to do a reconnoitering here first, or do you want to like walk?
I could do a little clairvoyance.
Yes, you can. That's absolutely true.
All right, and I will join you by doing a mind scan.
Okay, so the way that we do this, guys. Oh, no one. The clairvoyance. Let me get to this power. You know, it's funny. I brought with me like just a shit ton of books. Of course, I didn't bring Champions, and I looked at it, and I'm like, nah, man, why would I need to bring that? So basically, Steve, to use yours, what is the distance of your clairvoyance?
It is.
Clairsentience is.
Clairsentience, yeah.
So 3.2 kilometers.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So you're good to see anywhere in here. Give me a perception check for me. So it'll be 3d6 against your perception score, which is in the top of the first page of your sheet. Mind scan. Let's see what the range is here.
Perception. Is that pre-perception?
It's PER, right at the top of the middle of your first page. Under senses, it says perception roll.
Okay. 13 or less, and I want to roll under 13.
Yes, please.
And I do. I roll a 5.
No, oh, wow, way under. Okay, and actually this plays into your luck thing. So what you detect, Steve-O, is you first off, what does it look like when you use your clairsentience?
Well, he sits down into the lotus position, and he brings up his hands like this, and he closes his eyes, and he hums. Yeah.
Okay, so you're humming, and your senses are suddenly cast out well off into the woods. It takes a little bit of orienting yourself to get a sense of where this thing is, but then you see this cabin, and it's much bigger than you expect. Like this is a proper like log cabin thing. This is not a shack that's been thrown together with plywood or presswood. It's an actual proper cabin. It's probably the size of like an average size house. In fact, there's a smoke billowing from the chimney on this, and you can see that there are on the porch. There are two men standing there with sort of like combat fatigues and a flak. What do you call it? A flak. They look like militia members, to be honest. Like the kind of people you see protesting at like gun rights things. The sort of slightly overweight guys with the mustaches and the mirrored shades, and the NRA hats and whatnot, carrying AR-15s. That's what's standing outside watching this place. You also can sense that. So there's two of them on the porch. You also sort of, as you're spreading out, you can see that there are a number of others that have tried to conceal themselves elsewhere, as if they were expecting something. Now for yours, you said you want to do a mind scan?
Right.
Okay, so let's see here. The range is special C text. Let's see here. So to use your mind scan, it dictates the size of the place. Are you trying to like just get to the
sort of like the cabin and immediate surroundings?
Okay.
Just get an idea of how many people are present.
Sure. Okay. So you're going to make an offensive mental combat value attack.
Okay.
It's an unfamiliar mind, so it's going to take -4, and there's another -2, so it's -6 to the attack roll, as it were.
Okay.
Let me grab my reference book here. Go ahead and so let's see here. 11 plus what's your OCV right now? Or your modified OMCV?
It is 19, I guess. Well, the 8 plus 11, it's like an 8, and then
8 plus 11 is 19. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
and then minus, what did I say? Minus 3. What did I say? -3. So that's a 16.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm trying to see if you've got any. Okay, cool. See this here? +3 with psychic power. What that means is you have 3 levels with your psychic powers. Every time you have an action, you can choose to put that one into OCV, into DCV, into whatever you want.
Okay.
So if you dump them all into OMCV, that means it's actually 3 higher.
Okay.
Okay, Steve, you got, I think, 2 levels with your, what is it, quantum magic. Yeah, 2 levels of chaos quantum magic. So you can sort of bump up your OCV by up to 2, or you can spend 1 in OCV, 1 in DCV, and you change that every phase.
Okay.
So it's flexibility of you change. Okay. So you, so it's 19 if you're dumping those. Basically, you're offsetting the defenses, and then let's see here, the DMCV of this guy is quite high, I believe. Now, so you need a 11 or less on 3d6. Okay. So what you detect, there are inside the cabin. I'm going to count people on the porch. There are 4 mines that are in there.
Okay.
Now we're going to roll effect. So go ahead and roll. What is it? 12d6 for your mind scan. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead and roll 12d6 and total them up. So Steve, you come back with this information, and you've seen what you've seen there.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to take a look at your mind scan and results here. How we do?
Let's see. 10, 15, 16, 17, 18.
There's 21,
20, 21, 22, 23.
27, 31, 35. Okay. Sorry, I hit that dice. So 35 is about 15 higher than the ego. So you can use all mental powers on. So here's the thing. There are the 2 men who are on the porch, the 2 minds that you pick up on the porch that he's described. You can affect them with your mental powers, no problem.
Okay.
The 2 that are inside the building, that are actually inside there, something is preventing you from actually contacting them. There's some kind of barrier.
Okay.
You've probably, over the course of your career, encountered something like this. It's probably some kind of psi shielding.
Okay.
Okay. So both of you guys come back with that information. You share it with each other. What's the plan here, guys? How do you want to approach this?
So how many guys did you say were hiding around the cabin?
Oh, what was the number again, Kevin?
There are 2 that are hiding around the cabin. You were able to locate at least 5.
Okay. Yeah. So it's got some coverage, but it's fairly light. It's not an army.
Okay. And then there's 2 more on the porch and 2 inside the cabin, and the ones inside are shielded. They've got some form of power.
All right. What do you think these guys are? Should we try to take them out, or
maybe we can draw them away? If I can do the same thing with the guys outside of the cabin, could I make what if I?
Well, let me interrupt just with one thing that I realized. So one of the things that's a downside to your multi-power is you get to have a lot of cool different options for your powers, but as soon as you shift your points from one to another, you stop having the other one. So actually, you can't use the way that your character is built. You can't use your telepathy or your mental illusion on something that you've mind scanned.
Okay.
Mind scan is really helpful for identifying what's in there and whatever, but you're not going to be able to use that and telepathy. Say it.
Okay, so I have to.
You have to actually see them, I think.
See them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what I could do is if we can get close enough to see them without being detected, I could make an illusion that maybe we can draw them away from the house. Because it's a mental illusion, it should be no one else will hear it. So it should be quiet inside the house.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a good plan. I was thinking I could knock over a tree, but then the people inside of the house would hear it.
So I wonder what the best illusion is to draw them out. Maybe some movement or people in the trees.
Mechanically, so you know how this works. Your mental illusion can, if you shift to that, you can target one person with your mental illusion, or you can try and spread it around. Remember I was saying that you can spread for an effect? So you do multiple targets, but what it does is it reduces, for every extra target that you hit with it, it's going to reduce the number of dice you roll by 1 for your effect. So right now you're rolling, 12d6 for it?
Let me just check your hallucination, 12d6, yes.
So what you could do is you could target one person with 12d6, or you could target 5 with 8d6.
What I could do then, Steve, is I could just target maybe 2 of the group, and then they'd be like, hey, we see someone over there. And maybe they could, why not the whole one? They'd be convincing enough that if 2 people saw it, that they would drag the whole group away too.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So what is it you're trying to achieve there? What illusion do you want to see?
At a distance, when they're guarding this place, they maybe see 2 people in fatigues with assault rifles, sort of in the distance.
Yeah. Like military, you mean?
Yeah.
Not these guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's probably a major change. I'm just looking to see what you would need to achieve there. So a major change requires a result of ego plus 10. Assuming the average human is 10, so it means you need about 20, between 20 and 25 as your result. So that should to help you judge how many dice you would need to hit 1 or more.
I'm rolling 12 dice.
12 dice is an average of
so
about almost 40.
30, yeah, so I should be fine.
But I'm saying that that's only, remember, that's 1. If you're spreading it to more people, you're gonna be rolling less dice.
Right, but if I spread it just to 2, I'm still rolling 11 dice.
Absolutely, yeah.
And how many do you figured there was 5 of them hiding, Steve?
That's the best of my ability to figure. Yeah, that's what I saw.
Okay, well, I could do it on 3, roll 10 dice. That's still an average of 30.
Okay.
And I need to get a 20.
So how are you going to sneak up on the? Because these guys are clearly trying to set an ambush here.
So I guess we'll park in advance. Is Davies? Does he have powers? Or is he he's just a regular?
Just a regular agent.
Okay, so I guess we'll pop the trunk. We'll grab the Kevlar or the flak or whatever you call it. And there's just I guess they cops usually have a shotgun, so Davies can take the gun or whatever.
Shotgun's not going to be useful against AR-15s.
Right.
Oh, hey, I have quantum gate. Does that mean I can do teleportation for both of us?
Let's see here. Teleportation, mega scale. I don't. Oh, let's take a look at teleportation. I don't remember, to be honest. Man, I wish I brought my book.
Is it like Nightcrawler? Do I grab somebody and poof with them?
Let's see here. And poof with them, eh?
Yes, you know what I'm saying.
I'm hoping you're getting consent before that. So
Non-consensual poofing.
non-consensual poofing can really lead to some problems. I think it adds a disadvantage to your character. Normally, a character can only teleport himself and his clothing. Teleporting additional mass, including unwilling characters, requires increased mass. So that is you. Let's see here. I'm trying to see what it was built like. Mega scale. No, so Quantum Gate can only bring yourself.
Okay. You're quite a leap.
But it's a huge distance, though.
Yeah.
So, what do we think, guys?
Do you think we can park the car at a distance, try and sneak to visual range, and then see if we can draw at least, a good chunk of the outside guys away?
Sure.
Do you have anything better than coming up with armed soldiers in the background? Monsters seem unreal, I'm guessing. Or
Steve, would you give me? Hold first off. I think that you told me when you were using your clairsentience that you were going to use your magical sense as well. Isn't that what I heard?
That's what you heard.
Yeah, right. Because I remember you saying that.
Of course.
Would you give me a sense magic check? I think your sense magic score is a 13 or less.
All right. Detect magic, 13 or less. Okay, here we go. And 11.
11. So you can sense a phenomenally powerful magical source coming from the cabin, but it is like an active source. Not just something that is ripe with ambient power or latent power, like something that is actively being used. The difference between say a dead circuit and an active circuit.
Okay.
So I'm not an electrician, so I could be using those terms wrong. So I don't know, but that's what I think it sounds like. What I would.
What's our goal, Brent? I mean, are we going to try to infiltrate this cabin and see what's going on? Is that the?
Yeah. Well, we believe that item's there, right? So we need to recover it. It sounds like there's a whole bunch of people here. So I don't want to confront everyone. We'll probably have to confront the 2 people in the cabin, but we increase our odds of success greatly if we can get rid of, the 9 or so dudes outside of the cabin first.
Right. Get them to chase something through the woods.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And I thought, well, maybe the best way of doing it is to have them, chase after what they think is armed soldiers or,
Yeah. It's in about midsummer right now.
Right.
So
we'll have limited time to do this. So that, they're only going to be gone for so long, and the illusion's going to dissipate, right? So we're going to have to hit that cabin pretty hard.
Mental illusions, I believe, last as long as he concentrates on them.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think, guys? We got one person who can teleport. We got another unpowered agent, Davies.
Right.
Mental illusion. So what's the plan? Let's put it into action.
Yeah, I say we get them out. We get these guys out of the way. We then storm the cabin, confront the 2 people inside who may have powers from the sounds of it, and make an arrest and retrieve the item.
The magical sense that's in there too, Steve, you get the feeling that there's a weird vibe to it. Like there's something hinky about the magical emanations.
Okay. Something kinky about it.
Hinky, not kinky.
Hinky, all right.
Magical butt plug.
There's something going on in the cabin.
Exactly.
These cabins are rocking. Yeah.
Okay.
And telepathy, I have to make visual contact to use?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Because if we can get in and lay a hold of the, I could probably teleport the trinket away with me, but not you though. Yeah.
Okay. Well, being the FEI, we'd probably like to make an arrest. I think Davies and I.
You know what, Steve? So here's an interesting opportunity to talk about endurance use. So the endurance use for your quantum gate is normally a 6. But remember, I was saying you could use 5 times that to stunt something. Your endurance is a 45, so that won't completely tank you out, but it will take a lot of your endurance to make it so you can bring someone else.
Okay.
So what do you think?
Well, if we get in there and grab if we get in there and grab the object, it'd be a good way to get the heck out.
Okay, then maybe let's leave. Let's not take Davies. Let's leave him with the car, and he's both our. Get out of. He'll get us out quick, and that way we don't have to worry about. You can teleport 2 of us out, and either Davies or myself gets left behind if things go south.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty.
Okay. So, all right. So you're going to bring just Agent O'Connor.
Well, I'm just gonna save my teleport for on the way out rather than on the way in.
Oh, got it. Okay, got it. Yeah. So you're gonna want to make sure you keep an 30 endurance in your tank.
Okay.
And how much you said after you use you go through the phases, you get how much do you get at the end of the?
Equal to your recovery stat.
Okay.
So for you, I actually don't know what it is.
Recovery is 10.
Yeah. So
and if I also take an action to focus, you get 10.
Yeah. To take a second wind, basically. Okay. Okay. So describe for me what's happening here, guys.
Well, it's a forest, so
Because
we know where they are, so we'll try and sneak to the forest to the edge of visual range.
Okay.
I think we've got a bit of an advantage because we know where they are and and stuff, and they don't know about us yet. So
let's do a contested stealth and stealth roll against their perception. I'll give you guys a +3 to your stealth checks. If you are not trained in stealth, you're going to use your dexterity roll.
All right.
So I've got a 13 in stealth, so that'd be 13 plus 8. Is it like the same as an attack roll?
No. It's just 13. I've given you +3, so count as a 16.
Okay.
So you roll 16. You roll 16 or less, and however far below the number you roll. Okay. Yeah.
It doesn't look like I have stealth.
You don't? Okay, so then what is your dexterity roll?
18.
Dexterity roll is a 13 or less.
Okay, 13 or less. All right.
Oh, you know what?
And I get a plus.
So for those listening at home, it's been a long time since I've run a Champions, and unfortunately, I didn't have the actual book with me. So I'm pretty sure I'm fucking that up. I think that the actual number should be lower. It should be like 9 plus 3. Actually, I don't even know. I think it's 9 plus the attribute divided by 3 is the starting point. So that might be high, but we'll just go with this for now. So basically, Steve, you're going to make a 16 or less is what you need.
All right, let's do that.
Okay, and that's what I need
16.
as well.
Yeah. 60. Woo.
Okay, and I got a 10.
You got a 10. So you succeeded by 6. You succeeded by 0. You did succeed, but only by 0. So
Man,
these guys who are hiding out, these are guys who have been waiting for the government to come for them for years. Arguably, probably most of their adult life. They spend all their time at the shooting range, reading about guns, reading about this kind of thing. This is what they have been preparing for. Steve, do you really think that a success by a 0 is going to be enough to bamboozle those guys?
Hell yeah.
If you're lucky.
You got to think of this. These people.
That's a very good point.
I know. And these people, too, waiting is boring. They're going to, have waiting for years. You're going to bored. You're going to have conversations. Your mind's going to wander.
So I think we zoom in on one of these guys whose name is Randall. And Randall is standing there with his, AR-15, and he's actually got earbuds in, like an earbud in one of them, and we can hear. I'm not meaning to satirize all these fucking people to the extreme, but there's country music playing in his ear for sure. It's something to do with the whatever, either someone losing their girlfriend or whatever. And it's playing loudly in his ear, and he's sort of looking. And then we see he's ducked, he's leaning against his tree, listening away, chewing on some tobacco, and keeping an eye out under his mirrored shades, those like triangle types, like the biking shades. And he's looking out, his rifle at the ready, but he can't see that very, very near him are our two heroes. Are you guys bunched together? Or are you guys separated out?
I guess probably close together.
Yeah, you don't have any kind of like comm units or anything like that. So
no, I probably have some way of communicating to Davies.
Take a look at your character sheet. What do you have?
Or I would have. Oh yeah, I guess I would use my what's it called here? Look what's left. Let's see, the network.
Yeah. So it cost you endurance?
It does not.
Nice. So boom, you guys have a telepathic network between yourself, Davies, and you.
Okay, perfect.
Cool. Okay. So
I'm in your mind.
Get out of my head.
So we'll start this as an actual combat round. These guys are slower than you. So the first phase that comes up is 3 when you guys act. And you guys have the exact same dexterity. That's normally what dictates ties. So either of you guys can go first here. Who wants to go first?
Steve, I've got an idea. I don't know how this game works, but so I'm going to make an illusion of some the military coming for them, right? To hopefully get them to go after them. Do you think I might be extraordinarily lucky doing that? Or luck would have them all see, can luck add to an illusion?
Not really.
Okay.
No, not really. He's not. Steve, do you think you've got any power? So I think what Brent's looking for is like a cooperative kind of effort. And you can do that. Yeah. Especially since you guys are acting the same turn and on the same dexterity. That's actually pretty helpful. But his luck power doesn't quite, the luck power doesn't quite work that way. If there's a situation where it could be, well, let me take a look here. Let's see. I gotta see if I roll 6. I do. So luck, Steve, you might find a clue or gain information. The opponent could be momentarily distracted or stopped, giving the character a temporary advantage. So maybe what I'll do is, if you can come up with a way that the luck sort of works out, Steve.
Right.
What sort of lucky turn do you think might happen to support him using his mental illusion on this guy?
Well, maybe like an elk will come by in the forest, and these guys happen to be hunters, and they think about taking a bit of a break and chasing an elk away.
So they're looking off in that. Okay, wow, that's a little too much because he's.
What about the noise of an elk? Right, I make the illusion, and then all of a sudden there's noise in the forest from the elk.
Love it. So the guy looks over, sees the elk, and is like, and then he sees behind it your illusory guys. Like they're coming,
Yeah.
Okay, love it. So then that works absolutely. So the guy's looking over, and then he hears this like rustling, and he kind of like points his rifle over, and he sees this elk in there, and he kind of lowers the rifle, and he wants to take the shot. You can see, but he's not going to do it because of the because it'll give his location off. Now let's make your attack here. So what is your OMCV? So at the start of the round, you can put your levels in something. Do you want to put levels? Yeah,
so I'll put plus the 11 would be 22.
Okay, so 22 minus his DMCV is a 3. So you need a 19 or less. Rolling.
So I guess I don't need to put all 3 into offense. Okay,
not at all.
I could put into offense, defense, or what's the?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess I will put.
Well, you can put it in OMCV, DMCV, OCV, or DCV. If
okay.
you want to make yourself harder to hit, DCV might be the good one.
Okay, so right now I'll put 2 points into DCV, and I can change this each phase or each.
Absolutely. When it's your phase, yeah.
Okay, so I'll put 2 into DCV.
Okay. And so that means then you need a equal 1, which means it's a 20 minus 3. You need a 17 or less. So give it a try.
Okay.
Attack roll.
Here's her. I never roll.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. So you've definitely affected him. Let's roll the effect. His ego, I will tell you, is a 10.
And right, I was going to do this on 3 of them, so I'm only rolling 10 dice.
You can only see one of them right now.
Okay.
So just roll your full 12. Separate these out. I'm going to help here just because I can do it a little faster. So it's 10, 20,
25,
25. Oh, just stop
30.
because you're not helping. Sorry, just because it's easier if I do it. So 30, 5, 41.
Okay.
41 is 30 more than what his ego is, which means for 30, looking at your results here, mental illusions, you can make 30 more. Character no longer interacts with real environment. You can create a whole different world for this guy to be in. So you can limit it if you want to just that what you've described, but you've fucked him up so badly he could be falling through a chasm forever, or he could be whatever. Like, you maintain it, but you can change absolutely everything about his environment. So what do you do?
There's not just a couple guys. There's a whole bunch of guys coming. And
What, everywhere or what?
yeah, and he's like, oh my God, they're coming. He's like, they're overwhelmed. He's got to go for the bunker.
Well, you can't dictate what he's doing. You can dictate what he sees.
Okay. But I want him to report it and make it semi-real to the other guy. So I will listen. I will limit it to like a dozen well-armed government soldiers,
Okay.
with both the American and the UN flag. 'Cause I read. Sorry,
She's in bed. Sorry.
that's okay. You're just 2 floors up. You're good.
Oh, okay. That's super funny. Okay. So that's exactly what he sees. He sort of, we see from his perspective, you've done your sort of like little psychic, touch the head kind of thing. So the audience knows that you're using your power. But this guy, he looks over, he sees that elk, and then it goes down, and then it's like what comes on. Oh, here's the luck thing, Steve, is what queues up on his iPod or whatever next is Flight of the Valkyries. So it's like that, and you see there's just a fucking platoon of UN with the blue hats and the UN symbol on it, carrying their things, red masks. We can hear whoo, 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 as these black helicopters are flying overhead too. And he kind of like, ah! And he starts racing off in that direction. He's firing, firing away. Come on, they're coming. And so we cut back to reality again, and he's racing off the elk bolts, and this guy's just running off and firing away blindly. I did roll another point of luck for you, so I will say that the luck is, the other turn is that another like 4 of them are starting off in that direction, trying to figure out what he's firing at, or they're just firing blindly because they've got no fire discipline. Right. What are you guys doing? Steve, you will turn on the 3. That's what they'll be doing. They'll be doing it next phase technically, but what are you doing this phase?
Well, we've got them distracted. I think it's time to get moving. Yeah.
Okay, so you start moving off. So what I'll say is, Steve, you held your action to the next phase, right? You wanted them to go, and then you're going to go on phase 4?
Yes, that's right. Just see how they reacted. Yeah.
Okay, good. Clever move and clever use of the action economy. So these guys act on phase 4. That's what they start doing, is running off and whatever. Next action is phase 5, where you guys have an action again. So what do you want to do? Steve started moving off in the direction of the cabin. What are you going to do?
Okay, I will follow until I get a visual of the cabin.
Sure.
And then I'll add
So I think the 2 guys who are at the door, they're probably the more responsible ones. So they're sort of like, looking off in the direction. Let's do one more round of stealth checks here, guys.
Sure.
I think it's going to be average. I was no bonuses this time. So okay, I rolled for their perception.
And I rolled an 8.
I rolled a 10, so I got 10 out of 13.
Nice. Okay, so you succeeded by about 5, and you rolled.
I succeeded by 3.
Succeeded by 3. Okay. Ties go to our heroes, which is fortunate. So you sort of go racing up, and these guys are keeping a little bit better. So you sort of like you race up to right near where the cabin is. There's a bit of a clearing around the cabin where where there are some freestanding trees. You sort of come around the corner of this one like smaller coniferous tree, and you realize that they're still there, and you got a little closer than you intended, but you do manage to keep your cover, so they haven't seen you. Okay. So you got back. You got your do you have your weapon out?
I guess so, because I wouldn't take an action too. Like, and my other powers are mental, so I don't. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So you got your service weapon out. I'm just miming it being out. So you sort of look out and duck back, and you lean forward a little bit, and you can see through the through the trees. You can see the two guys there. So that's you would have moved up. I think you would have been able to get there on phase 3. So phase 5, you're up there. Steve, on phase 5, what do you want to do? You can take an action this turn if you like. There are 2 militia members that are waiting at the door.
And that's the only way in that we can see, is it?
It is, yeah.
I could try doing an illusion again.
Well, let's see. Does your clairvoyance cost you any endurance?
Clairvoyance, clairsentience. How do I know if it costs endurance?
On the right side of the character.
Yeah, it cost me 6.
Okay, so I'm assuming you have not. I'm assuming what you did is when you first used your, in the lotus pose and whatever, you took a moment to recover that endurance. So you're currently going in with your full 45.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, and the reason I gave you the scratch or asked you to get scratch paper is so you can track your endurance, because that will go up and down a lot.
Great.
Okay, so
is there a treat? Yes.
You asked whether or not there was another entrance. You didn't look for that before, but you could use your clairsentience to do that now if you like.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, would you kindly give me a perception roll? Now, this is not to see whether there's a door. There's something else that you're going to detect, because you can, basically all of your senses are active whenever you reposition it using your powers.
Okay, perception roll. Rolling 11.
11. What's your perception?
13.
Awesome. Okay, so you cast your mind out, and sort of like there's this, like drone type shot where you're sort of sweeping around. There actually is a second entrance here. At least you think there is, in this form of a storm cellar. But the reason I wanted you to make the perception roll is, as you're getting in closer, you can hear the whine of some kind of machine, like a pretty big machine, like something like a mechanical lathe or something. Not that's what it would sound like, but I mean like a big and driven, power driven or gas driven kind of machine operating inside the cabin.
Okay, I mentioned that, and then I suggest we try to use the cover of the noise and the illusion to get around to the storm cellar door.
Okay, I can try and get these guys to go off against to go fight the invading UN army as well.
Sure.
And that will get them away, and then we can sneak in through the storm cellar. How's that sound?
Sure, yeah.
The boys should.
What skills do you have?
Do
you have anything? What I want to know is whether you can. Here's a way. If you wanted to use, say, here's a useful thing for telepathy. Remember, you can use telepathy to sort of like probe thoughts.
Yeah.
You could probe them to see what their reactions would be if you get a good enough result. Because what I'm thinking is these dudes were the last line of defense. They may run off and fight. They may also hunker down.
Right.
Right. So you might want, if you wanted to try to figure out what that response would be, telepathy, I think, with a good enough result would give you that.
Cool. And then if it looks like they're hunkered down, we could be the mental illusion instead of being you, and it could be their comrades calling them for help.
Yeah.
Okay, so this will take, I guess, 2 actions then.
Yep.
Okay, so the first action.
So this is, let's see here. We're now in phase 8.
Okay.
So you're taking your action first.
Okay, so
they're doing nothing other than readying to, shoot you.
So here's my telepathy. So so then I will put one into DMCV.
Okay.
So that gives me a 20.
Okay.
And
20, and their DMCV is 3, so 17 or higher, or less rather. Nice. Okay, so yeah, you probe. Go ahead and roll your result. And let's see here.
Oh, there's 2 of them, so I want to subtract 1.
Were you trying to hit both of them?
I guess it doesn't really matter. I get one of them will probably
stay with 1 for now, and then make sure you mark your endurance from using this as well too.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see here.
Okay,
10, 20, 30, 40, 7. Wow, Jesus. So you beat him by 30, which means you can read the subconscious. Sensory impressions, data, feelings recorded in the target's memory, received as the target recorded them. You can define repressed or forgotten memories. I think what you're able to sort of like, as you're sort of swirling around in this guy's memories, they are the last line of defense. So they're there to prevent anyone from breaking through. You also, as you're probing their memories, as this guy's memories, you see 2 faces. One of them is this craggy but really muscular dude who's in his like early 70s. If you think of like, a massively built version of like Jack LaLanne.
Okay.
Imagine what, or even like Schwarzenegger kind of, but Schwarzenegger at his most fit in his late 60s, early 70s, right? But perfectly like all like steel gray hair, cut really short, crystal blue eyes, this jutting kind of like handsome jaw. This guy would have been a, like a 50s cover model, back in the day. He seems to be in charge. He also sees someone else who is he's an Asian man who looks to be about 150. But he moves with, you remember what Lo Pan looks like?
Mm-hmm.
And when he's in the wheelchair in Big Trouble in Little China? That's what this dude looks like. But he moves much more. He's not in a wheelchair or anything like that. He moves around walking. But
no fan.
He moves, and that man walks around with a a big katana at his waist. He also has one more vision, some kind of elaborate machinery inside this cabin. I'm giving you all that because you rolled incredibly well. You basically...
Okay. Do I get a rough layout of the cabin then, so I know how to get up from the basement? Okay.
There's sort of like a big room. Actually, the storm...
Can I bring him in because I'm mind linked to Steve? Can Steve see this with me?
Sure. Yeah, I'll say that.
Okay.
So you're sharing this sort of visions with him, and you're seeing this whole cabin. Yeah, there's like one... it's basically there's a couple side rooms which are like bedrooms, and then there are bedrooms built on the second floor as well. And then there's one big like sort of like living room / kitchen, but it's full of this giant machinery of what this guy saw.
Okay. So, okay, I'll use that information, and then because I got into his like innermost details, not only is his friends gonna call, but they're gonna call in such a way that it pulls on them from an inner emotional need from an event from their childhood.
Here's what I love that, but I think, remember that they were the last.
Right.
Can you think of someone else who would have a more compelling effect on them?
Wow, one of the big dude, the big strong dude.
I think that's the reading you got off of him.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he will order them out.
Nice. Okay. So you stop. You collect yourself. Did you mark on your endurance?
I did.
Okay. Steve, on phase 8, do you want to do anything?
I mean, we're gonna have to go up to the cellar door. When are we planning on doing that?
We're gonna get these guys to go away first. So like next round.
Well, then I guess maybe I'll recover my.
So you recover. Oh, good call. Yeah, good call. So go ahead for this round. You recover your endurance. Phase 10. What are you doing?
Okay, I'm gonna go for it, and I want to make sure I do this well. So I'm gonna pump 2 into OCV or MDCV, right? No.
Yeah.
MOCV.
OMCV.
OMCV, and then one into defense and 2 into offense.
Sure.
So that would give me 21. So I need 18 or less.
You need basically if you roll 18, you'll fail. That's it. That's amazing. Okay, roll your effect. So because you're affecting one more, you're spreading
dice.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yowza. So we got 10, 20, 30, 41, 44. So once again, for these two guys, you can change the entire world for them.
Okay.
So, like, I'll just throw it out here. You could have the cabin behind them explode into flames and have that big guy go running out and say, "Come with me," and drive them along. Like, that's just how much change you can make.
Okay, that sounds really awesome. And
Okay.
I'll add some, UN soldiers in the distance, and they will
Love it. And again, bum 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 bum. So it's going up in their minds. So these guys are racing off the deck. And you guys just see again, it's perfectly quiet, and you can hear the staccato kind of pack of the guys. Although they've stopped now because their illusion has ended. So you sort of only bought some time before those other guys recover. These guys will continue as long as you're concentrating on it.
Okay.
Okay. So so there go running off. Spend your endurance for that.
Okay.
And then so their next turn is on 12. No, on 8 as well. So they go racing off on you're on 10. Their next phase is gonna be on phase 12. They act on dexterity 12. Do you guys want to let them act first and then you guys act on phase 12?
I thought I might want to recover before we get into the house because I've used a good chunk of my.
Sure. So you can take a recovery on phase 12 to catch your breath.
Right.
Then Steve, do you want to do anything on phase 12?
I could go up to the storm cellar door.
Yeah. See if it's
Out
open.
there? Sure. Yeah.
See if it's open. Yeah.
Give me.
And if not, use weight of time on it.
Okay, so you go scrambling over there. Why don't you give me Steve?
Yeah.
You use clairsentience. Do you want to just teleport over there?
That would be pretty fast, wouldn't it?
It would be pretty fucking fast. You already know there's no one in position over there. Here's the other thing. After phase 12, remember that everybody gets a free post phase 12 recovery.
Yes. What's that recovery worth again?
Whatever your recovery stat is, and yours, Steve, let me double check here. So I didn't print a copy of your guy. Your recovery stat is 12.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so it'll cost you 6 to teleport, but then you'll on the post 12 recovery, you'll gain 12 back anyway.
Let's do it.
Okay. What does it look like when you teleport?
So I draw my hands together, and it's like there's quantum entanglement. There's almost two of me. There's half of me twice in two different places, and I phase from one place to the other. So
there's a flutter, in the visual, and then poof, you're suddenly elsewhere. So he's vanished next to you, and you got the mental link still anyway, so you're fine.
Okay.
Okay. So you that's what you did on phase 12. Post phase 12, guys, you now get recover endurance equal to your recovery again, and we go to the start of the round. So the soldiers have run off as far as you can tell. It is your turn now. Steve, I'm going to give this to you for free. When you get to the door, now that you're so close to the to the building, there's almost like a magical heat coming off of this. You're like, it's almost like it's fraying your senses to try and open them up. You're almost afraid to open the senses to it, like you're going to be overwhelmed.
Right. Okay.
Like when you're standing outside a club and there's a door entrance to it, and there's that dull like, and as soon as you open the door, it's going to hit you like a wave.
Right.
That's what the sensation is.
Okay. And is the cellar door locked?
The cellar door is it probably is, because I want to give you an excuse to use your weight of time ability.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. I accept.
Awesome. Okay, so you look at this lock, and then I don't need you to make a roll for it, because you're going to be able to, with 13 dice, you'll be able to annihilate this thing. It's an average of 13. So just so you know, Steve, the way it works is you make your roll, you figure out that's how many points that the target loses that you drain from them. This thing probably only has a body of maybe like 6. which would cost 18 points, I believe. Which means on your 13d6, you're rolling on average about like 44-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So you can touch this thing, and then it sort of like collapses.
Perfect.
Yeah, it falls apart. It doesn't like turn into dust necessarily, but it just falls like it is not functioning the way it's designed.
Right.
So you grab it, it pops open. You toss it out of the side, pull the latch open, and you're able to open the door down in.
Okay. I'll run over while he's doing that.
Are you running over to that side?
Yeah, to where he is.
Okay, give me a stealth check.
All right.
Let's just see if anyone's looking out the windows.
And then, Steve, when we have to confront these two, let's confront them one at a time. I'll drain them, then you try and stun them.
Okay.
No. Wait, 10, 11, 13 on the dot. So
13 on the dot. Okay, so you go scrambling along. There's one point. There's one point where you sort of like you stumble, and then you slam against the side of the cabin, and there's a window right above you, and you kind of like scramble along the ground, looking back to see if anyone heard you. Doesn't appear that anyone heard. Okay. So
you pull out a little reflective, like a dentist tool, and you look in the window, just like Keanu Reeves did in Point Break. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. That's right. He's an FBI agent. Looks like Keanu Reeves. He's totally Point Break.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even thinking of that movie at all when I.
So you
because I'm not in the suit anymore either, right? I was like picturing FBI suit.
You go racing around the corner, and you see basically Airsat's Jim Morrison with the he's carefully laying the big cellar doors to the side as he's opening it up, and it leads down into a root cellar. What do you guys do?
I suppose we descend into the root cellar. I will. I don't know. I'll probably have like a flashlight or some sort. Turn that on and go down.
Okay. Would you guys each give me perception checks, please?
Perceiving. Oh shit! That was a 15.
15.
Yeah.
Okay, so you fail.
I made it by 3.
By 3, okay. So you, unfortunately, Sylvester, you go down first, and then you're on your way down, and then you look over. Fuck, there's a flashing red light.
We triggered an entry alarm.
Shit.
I have security systems. Can I do I know how to turn it off?
Give me a roll. Let's see. You quickly holster. Well, hold on. So we're on. That was phase 3. Phase 5 we're on right now. So go ahead and make your check. What'd you do?
14, 6, 10. Yeah, no.
Okay, so you're scrambling this thing, and like you can't figure out where it's wired from. Steve, I'll let you go first. What are you doing on 5? He's just told you that you triggered an alarm.
They know we've come in.
Is the machine in here where I am?
No, but you can hear something upstairs.
Okay.
There's the ramble or the rumbling of something upstairs, and again, there's that wave of mystic energy.
Right. I use clairsentience to see what the other guys are doing.
Like in the main room?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So so it costs you whatever it is, like 6 endurance. So you concentrate, and it's seemed like there's some kind of barrier that's been set up around this cabin. So it's sort of like distorting your perspective. But what you see is this massive swirling kind of machine. Remember what Ogma's house looked like in Dark Crystal?
Oh yes.
With all the like moving parts. It's kind of like a smaller version of that, but with weird like very like steel heavy sort of components that are moving around. In the center of this, there's a strange looking kind of like carved single piece carved stone statue, and standing near the side are 2 more of those like militia dudes, or actually no, there's no other militia dudes. There's that man that you saw through Agent O'Connor's vision of that said, the 70s real big tough dude who has just suddenly turned and is looking down at the floor. He seems to be looking towards where there's a trapdoor leading down, and you see his eyes kind of start arcing with electricity and turn white. But sitting in the center of this whole apparatus, around where all this mystical energy and electricity and shit is all sort of arcing around and hitting this tablet, is that old Lopan looking dude with the sword laid across his chest, and he's chanting in some language that you don't recognize. Oh no, you probably do recognize it because you speak a whole bunch of different mystical languages. It's a weird combination of like Sanskrit and ancient Chinese and Akkadian. It's this weird pastiche magical language, but there's some really techno-magic-y vibe that's going on here. Do you want to make a give me a detect magic check here? This is going to be quite difficult, so there is going to be a pretty substantial penalty here.
Okay.
Just because I'm trying to see if you can identify what sort of ritual is going on here.
Okay. 13.
13, okay. All you know is there's a lot of fucking power going through this thing. Now, so that was the end of, what did I say, phase 5 or phase 8?
I think that was phase 5.
I think it was phase 5, okay. Let's see.
Because the phase, because that's when I noticed but failed to detect or turn off the thing.
Okay, so phase 8.
Okay.
Now, there is somebody who has a higher dexterity than you guys, which means he gets to act on phase 8 before you guys do. That big guy who with the steel gray hair, he you still see, I think, in your vision because you're still maintaining it, he suddenly like bursts through the air, leaving this stream of like lightning behind him, and smashes his fist down as he smashes his way through the root cellar, or through the trap door into the root cellar. And he yells something at you guys. I don't think either of you speak it. He yells something in either Dutch or German at you.
Is it German?
And that is I think his strength is actually high enough for it to be his passive action. There's a cool concept of passive strength in Champions, where like you don't even have to take an action if you're strong enough. You don't even have to use an action to try and get through things. Wow. This dude happens to be that strong, it appears. But he sees the two of you down there. So you know what, Steve? I'm going to see if you're lucky here.
Okay.
Let's see if you're removed from the action. I just rolled a 6. He's not targeting you. He's targeting the agent. Looks at you. What's your DCV right now? Not your DMCV, your DCV.
Where is it? It's got 1 + 1 from... am I rolled my... DCV would be 8.
8. Ooh, okay. So he comes bursting down. His eyes flare up and his feet aren't hitting the ground. His eyes flare up with electrical burst and then arc out towards you. Let's see if he hits. Your DCV is an 8 right now.
Right.
Okay. So let me think here.
Can I try and dodge?
Yes, you can. So what that does is that a boarding, that means you're going to miss your turn this turn.
Okay.
And what it does is it adds 3 to your DCV.
Okay.
Okay. So good call, which means your DCV is now a 11. So basically he needs a 10 or higher to hit you. I think it's more exciting, so let's roll it in front of you. Here we go. Or 10 or less to hit you. I rolled an 11. So this thing, lightning bursts out. I'm just
like leaping for cover.
Yeah, you dive for cover, and it just annihilates those wooden stairs, so they're nothing but flinders left behind, smoldering ones. Now it's your turn, Steve. Your senses sort of rush back. Because you saw this guy go crashing through. He's down in the hall, or in the root cellar. He's floating in air. There's little bits of electricity arcing over him. His eyes are bursting with electrical power. What are you gonna do?
What if I leap out and grasp either the wall or the roof, and do weight of time and try to make that machine fall down.
Ooh.
Try to make the floor collapse on the.
The thing is, the structure of this floor is probably built to sustain that, so it's it might take you more than one round of doing that. Because you know what? The way that the spell works is you basically can keep doing it, and I don't think I built yours as being cumulative. So basically, you keep trying to make it to do a better job of it.
Okay.
But let's see here. Yeah, I don't. You could try. I think you'd have to get a really, really good effect in order to really to have the floor collapse down. But I like that idea, though.
Yeah. Well,
try it.
May as well go for it.
Okay. So I'm not going to make you bother rolling to hit because it's going to be fairly easy to do that. Have you given some consideration to the fact that you guys are both in the cellar too?
Yes. So, but he's still in the doorway, or is he?
No, I dived because there's no stair. Also, that means I'm guessing there's no stairs to climb back out either.
Oh shit, that's probably right.
If I make the whole, that's what would happen, hey?
No, like the dude shot like lightning. I dodged, but it took out the staircase.
Okay.
Blew it up.
Well, then we got to go upstairs, anyways. Let's bring upstairs, downstairs. So that'll be the whole. Because I was thinking, like, just bring part of the floor down that that wasn't necessarily on top of me, but I could also use my defense. I've got my natural make my own luck, but. Yeah,
you know what? I mean, for your DCV does not help an awful lot with area attacks. Because they target the hex, they don't target the individual.
Right.
And that's probably what would happen if this whole thing came down on top of you. Like, the way I describe the machine is it's filling up that sort of whole common room. So,
right.
I mean, what you could do, Steve, is, you could do that extra effort thing and teleport both of you guys out of here.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll cost you 30 endurance to do that.
Is there anything else you can do? Let's save that for getting out.
Sure. Although
anything that you can slow this guy down.
Well, let's make a decision quickly here, guys.
Yep, I could definitely just. What am I looking for here? Disrupt the chi, or no? It's the one where quantum entanglement, destiny, way of destiny.
Way of destiny. Oh yes. So that one would be an OMCV. So your OMCV versus his DCV. Okay. What's your OMCV?
My OMCV is an 8.
Is an 8, okay. And you have 2 levels, which means you could in theory dump both of those into OMCV, meaning you'd have a 10.
Yeah.
His DCV is currently a 7.
Okay.
So that means that your 11 plus 8 is 19 minus 7 is a 12. You could make that up. You could bump that up with your levels to a 14 or less if you wanted.
Let's do it.
Okay. So it's all going in. Go ahead. I'm going to quickly take a look at Entangle. On this.
Woo! 8.
Nice. So what does it look like when you use your that power? When you hit him with the whammy?
Put my hands to my temple. There's always a somatic element to my magic, it seems, and my eyes sort of invert a little bit, and this kind of misty fog appears around my eye sockets. And then it kind of reaches out towards the person I'm entangling.
Amazing. Okay. So he's hit. Go ahead and roll 3d6, Steve, and tell me what numbers you rolled.
All right. I rolled a 6, a 1, and a 3.
6, a 1, and a 3. Okay, so the reason that's important, Steve, is because I'm looking at the body, and this is so you guys know when you're rolling damage on something, there's 2 things you're looking for. You're looking for the stun, which is the total of whatever you rolled, but you're also looking for the body. Every 1 you roll counts as a 0. A 2, 3, 4, 5 counts as 1. A 6 counts as 2. And for what you're doing is you're dictating what the body of the roll. Oh no, sorry, it's just flat. Whatever you rolled. So what you roll? What's the total of what you rolled, Steve? Sorry.
10.
10. So that means it's got a body of 10. So this is what this guy's going to have to try and shake himself loose. His ego is actually not great. So this is a good thing to use against him. So he's basically in a fugue state right now. So he cannot. Let's see here. So his arms and legs are restrained, giving him a DCV of 0.
Nice.
So he's sort of like and caught, and the electricity is still arcing out from his eyes, but he seems to be caught in this like perpetual hover right now. So nice. So you hit him with that. That's awesome. That was phase 8. Now it's phase 10. So he has a higher dex. He's going to try and escape, but here's the shit thing for him is because it's a mental thing. Oh my gosh. I need to at least roll 1 6 and 2 other numbers that are a 1, 2 or higher in order for him to even affect your entangle right now. Let's see. I rolled a 1. He does nothing. So this round he's struggling trying to get himself free. As long as you're keeping your power points in that, he's entangled. Wow. Okay. So that is that's great. He's still caught in your mental whammy. Either of you guys can go now.
Okay, I'm going to try and drain him. I'm going to grind his will.
Okay. And what is your grind will? Is it a target?
Remember, his DCV is a 0. So if you wanted to shoot him or something, he's got no defense.
Yeah, but he's probably armored or something. And if I can do this, we can make him docile.
So it's OMCV.
Oh, okay.
OMCV. Good call against him. His DMCV is garbage. It's a 3.
All right.
So, and I'm gonna pump up my MDCV.
Yep. OMCV. Remember,
OMCV.
what is short for, Brent, is offensive mental combat value, defensive mental combat value. So okay, so you're jacking up which? Sorry.
I'm jacking up my OMCV.
Okay.
By 1, and I'll leave put 2 in my DCV because I'm scared if he's gonna hit me.
Okay. Yeah. Good call. Good instinct.
So I need. You said 3.
So well, it's 19, I mean, basically, 20. What is it? It's 11 plus your.
So no, it's 20 minus whatever his.
Yeah, it's 3, so 17.
Nice.
9. So
nice.
I beat him by 8.
Yep, he has no mental defense. So you're subtracting nothing from it.
4, 8, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 26, 30.
Oh, hold on, you were using your ego drain, weren't you?
Yeah.
66, isn't it?
Oh, I just got used to rolling 12. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Let's take the first 6 here. Let's grab these guys. So that is, what is that? 12, 15, 18. So 18. So the way a drain works, so you guys know, is it's 18 character points worth of that. Ego costs, hold up here. I wish I had the fucking buck. Ego costs, I believe, 2 per point, which means he loses 9 points from his ego. So that is bad news. 1 point. Holy shit. Oh, he's completely brain fucked right now. Boom. He's got 0 ego, which means he will listen to anybody's suggestion.
Okay. How long does this last?
It also means he's not as long. This lasts. He starts recovering at the, I believe, the post 12 recovery.
Okay.
So he's.
And how long? Like, is it like 1 per round, or like he gets back?
It'll be reflective on his recovery stat.
Okay, so whatever his recovery, so he could recover like 10 or something.
He might be recovering well, but for now, and he's going to be. He can't basically because he's got a 0 ego, and because he's trapped. Yeah, he's kind of screwed right now. He can't break out of your thing because he's got a 0 ego. So I think his eyes go back to their normal, like crystal blue kind of status. That was phase 10, right? Because the 8 was when he dodged. This is phase 10. We're now on phase 12. He has Dex, but he's not doing anything. He's waiting for suggestions from you guys as to what to do.
Well, okay. So here's my thought, Steve. Is we can't after the end of the round, you'll start recovering. We can't physically deal with them.
Did you mark your endurance from using that too?
Oh yes, sorry. That was 6.
Okay.
So what if I put in an illusion because he's drained right now? An illusion of the FBI making off with that statue that they're guarding.
You are likely going to be able to change his entire environment. If you get a 0, remember, like you roll 12d6. On average, roll for you is about 40.
How about a missile hits the cabin? It explodes, or before it explodes, he sees the FBI leaving with the statue, and then a missile hits the cabin and explodes.
Sure.
How would he? Like, are you mean he's going to see it from like a camera perspective?
Oh no, right? Because he's in it. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I mean, well, here, look, using that idea, Brent. What if he was just buried in rubble? Remember, you can change with the role you're likely to get because he's got a 0 ego right now. You could change the entire world for him.
But it would only last the one round. The next round,
well, and you'd be shifting as well too out of the entangle. So likely that, you're shifting out of the drain. So you'd start recovering, I think.
So, but then he'd start trying to pound on us next round.
Possibly.
So I want to get him to do something that would have him run away, so he's not there to attack us next round. Because
let's make a decision. What do you want to do?
Well, he's got a DCV of 0 right now as well. I mean, maybe now's a good time to drop the ceiling on him. I don't know.
Well, no, because we're both here. What if he thinks we've ran out of the building with the statue?
And you could suggest to him to chase us. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, guys: Is there rather than trying to get him to scoot away, because as soon as you stop concentrating on it, the illusions end. You've got probably a bunch of militiamen who are coming back to this place right now.
And then he'll figure it out.
Is there a way? Because right now you've got him pretty much fucked with the combo of your abilities.
What if he just perceives those bands to be so fucking tight he can't escape?
You could change. Yeah, if you rolled well enough with what his ego is right now, you can pretty much change the world so he could be in what he thinks are unbreakable chains.
Well, yeah.
He's not actually in chains right now. It's a mental whammy that Steve puts on him. It's basically like it's like imagine every neuron misfiring in your brain all at once. Every single wire is crossed. Is sort of what happens when.
Or we could just try to take him out. I mean, we could just start shooting at him, and I could use my my blast, my disrupt his chi, because he's in a state right now where he's kind of helpless. We could just try to get rid of him.
How would the disrupting the chi?
As soon as you change your multi-power, Steve, that's when that entangle goes away.
Right. And does blast chi? It does like physical.
Is disrupt the chi does.
4d6 mental blast.
4d6 affects D solid. Yeah, and his DCV I'll say is still 0 if you because it's a free action to shift.
And that would knock him unconscious, right?
Potentially, depending on how much stun this guy has.
Okay, do you want to try? I'll try and maintain. How about you try and knock him unconscious, and I'll try and maintain him as docile.
The great thing with mental blast is basically it's an attack that does damage, but it ignores physical and energy defense.
Okay. And he probably doesn't have much in the way of mental defense. So
no, but he might have a bucket full of stun. That's the downside.
Well, let's give it a shot.
Okay.
So you, so this is on phase 10 right now. He was doing nothing. You guys are doing your thing. So you shift your multi-power from the entangle into the mental attack and go ahead and give him shit.
So roll 3d6, right?
Well, it's against DCV. It's a 0. You're going to hit. Just roll 10, as long as you don't roll 18.
Right. Okay. As long as I don't roll 18. I did not roll 18. I rolled 11.
Amazing. Roll 4d6 and tell me what you roll.
Okay.
Here it comes.
Oh, that was a good one. And that's not too bad. I got 10, 14, 17.
17. Okay, so he's hit with 17 points of damage. I'll write that down. He kind of, you see his face twitch. He's still sort of kind of like slack-jawed, staring off into space, but there's as he's hit. but he's not quite down though.
Okay.
So it's your
Can
turn.
I maintain?
Wait, did you use yours on? I think you
I used
them
mine last turn. I think
on 10. 8 was when you.
because for round 1 was round.
Yeah, that's
5
right.
was when I detected that thing, and so 8 would have been my dodge.
10 is so this you're gonna have to go on. Because you just hit him with the drain, right? The ego drain. So that was on 10, and then Steve did his action, which was the mental blast.
Right.
So we're on 12 now.
Okay.
So he has no action because he's got an ego of 0. He's sort of waiting commands. What do you guys want to do this round?
Do you want to blast him again, and I'll try and maintain the drain?
Sure. What's the difficulty now?
Difficulty is same thing. Oh yeah, his DCV is back, but he's got his DCV is currently a 7.
But wouldn't he be like docile because I've got no will?
I'll give him half DCV right now. So he's got a 3.
Let's rock.
So wait, what's your OMCV right now? OEM? Yeah, OMCV?
MCV is an 8.
19, 16 or higher is what you need right now. And then you still have your levels you can put elsewhere if you want.
16 or lower. All right. And I rolled a 12.
12, it definitely hits. Hey, one thing I totally fucking forgot about. Guys, you can spend 2 of your levels to boost your effect by 1 dice.
Okay.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So I could roll an extra die?
With yours, it would be a half extra dice because yours cost more.
Okay. So, yeah, let's do that to add 3.
Sure. Yeah, so roll 3d6, or roll, 4d6, and then roll 1d6 and divide it by 2.
Okay. Come on, baby. Come on. Big money. Oh, that looks good. 10, that's 19 plus.
Nice.
Oh, plus 3. Nice. That's 22.
Holy shit. Okay. So yeah, you lay down again the karmic whammy on this guy, and again you so if you take more stun in one attack than what your constitution score is, you're stunned. Like you lose your next action.
Okay.
This guy's got a really fucking high con though, so he isn't stunned by that, but he is looking pretty beaten down. What are you doing?
Okay, so I've drained him.
Yep.
But that just means he's docile until I let go. What? I can either do illusion, or I can go into his mind.
We could try to hit him one more time, and that might do it.
What would happen? It would just maintain it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to check the drain bar. I can't remember offhand what how the things return. So you use. Negative return at 5 character points per turn. That means next turn, the guy will gain 5 ego. Then the next turn after, and again, turn. So after you go through all the phases.
So if we had 5.
So he's going to be fucked up for quite a while.
Okay. What else can I do to him now that would cause stun? Other than shoot him.
Finish him off with some shooting.
Hallucination.
What do you think?
I could just go in his mind. You know what? Let's. While you're doing that, I'm just going to. I'll do telepathy and figure out exactly what's going on here.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, his ego's so damn low. With your MCV, don't roll an 18. Okay. So roll 2d6. Let's see. I think that you're going to have no difficulty as long as you don't roll a shit ton of 1s. I'm not going to bother adding it up.
But I don't roll a shit ton of 2s.
Nah, it's still going to be good enough. As long as you roll 30.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 24.
24. Okay, so you rolled 20 more with your telepathy, 20 more than what his ego is. So Telepathy. So what I'm going to say is, here's what you get visions of. The first one is really the shocker. You see Adolf Hitler talking to this guy. You see the entire upper echelon of the Nazi party talking to this guy. You see fights in the sky with superhumans who are speaking with a British accent. You see war, like you see any scene from like Saving Private Ryan or Band of Brothers or whatnot, that Western Front stuff, you see all of that. You see him speaking to this old Japanese or Chinese guy or Asian guy as well. You see, or what you pick up is that there is a plan that involves time travel that is being put into effect right now. I think that's what you pick up for this phase. So that's phase 12. Steve, what are you doing during phase 12?
I'm going to blast him again.
Okay. Well, I forget, did he go on phase 12 already?
I think I may have gone on phase 12.
All right, okay. So this is post phase 12 recovery, guys. Again, recovery back in endurance. And then we'll go top of the round. He actually gets to enjoy that as well. Even though he's not in his right mind right now. So this guy, let's see here. I don't think that you would know. Guys, both give me just a raw intellect check. It's a little difficult. I'm just trying to common trivia. See if you guys recognize this guy now that you've got that context for it.
So how does that work?
Well, you know what? I don't think you picked this up yet, Steve. He hasn't shared this yet, so you wouldn't necessarily know.
But he's got the mind link,
right? But he doesn't automatically have everything you're thinking. Okay. Otherwise, how would you
right?
know,
yeah. Okay.
You wouldn't be able to focus on anything.
So when I have a value of 20, what does that mean?
Check the rolls here.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. 13.
Got
10.
It. Means you beat by 3. I think you would probably be able to. Do you think your guy's a bit of a World War II buff, or do you think, or a superhero buff or something like that?
Yeah, I mean he's got powers. He might not, wear the cape and stuff, but he kind of secretly,
So, you remember this name? You sort of now have suddenly put the mental to the face. The guy's face you're seeing is not a cover model. He was literally a poster boy, because he was the poster boy of Aryan perfection during the Second World War. This is Sturmbogel. Sturmbogel was, or also known as Stormbird, was basically the Aryan Superman who fought in World War II. Massively strong, bulletproof, break tanks with his bare hands, and could shoot massive bolts of electricity. If this guy gets free and attacks you guys are fucked. So, I mean, he's got to be in his close to 100 at this point. But, he seems in his prime, he was one of the most fearsome metahumans around. And if he's got some kind of plot going on, that's not good news.
Okay, so mind drain his ass first thing.
Okay, so first round, he is still at right now let him recover. So he's not susceptible to things. His ego is a 5 right now, and he's not encumbered.
Is your thing still up, Steve?
I'm not going to take time to look it up. I'm going to say that he needs to have a full turn before he gets to make the recovery of 5. I might be wrong about that, but I'm going to err on the side of you guys. He doesn't get that 5 ego back until the end of this turn.
Okay.
So he's still sort of, he's hovering in the air right now.
Okay.
What do you guys want to do?
I'm going to try and drain him again.
Okay. Well, he's sure. Okay, so don't roll the hit. He's still at 0.
Okay.
Oh, no. You know what? Roll your drain check, because that will it'll just postpone the time. What you'll do is I did look this up because I wanted to make sure I got it right. Just roll 66, and let's see how much longer it'll take him. Steve, what do you want to do this round?
Finish him off.
I'm going to try to finish him off. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So
don't attack, just roll damage.
Roll damage. Here we go.
And have your endurance as well too.
23.
23. Okay. Yeah, so basically it's gonna be another 5 turns.
Okay.
You've really hard. Drool sort of come out of his mouth.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Plus, I'll put my 2 things in to get an extra D3, which I get 1, so that's 10. 10 more damage.
10 more damage. Okay. This guy is fucking tough. He's just not going down.
Right.
You think this is costing you 6 endurance per turn, per try? Is that
Per
right?
try, that's right, yeah.
You're questioning whether he's going to break before you do.
Right.
So tough.
Hmm.
So next turn, it'll be phase 5. What are you doing?
At least we're doing some damage. I'm going to hit him again.
Okay. Don't even roll attack, just roll damage.
Here we go. We're going to do this again. Come on.
Let's try and get him down before his post 12 recovery again.
Oh, nice.
I want to know.
20?
Plus 3. 23.
He finally collapses. He drops down. You've finally broken his will for the time being. He is unconscious.
Whew, jeez.
I would like to enter his unconscious mind and find out about his companion upstairs.
Okay.
So don't roll an 18.
Don't bother rolling to attack. Oh, no, he's unconscious. You can't. I don't think you can use telepathy on an unconscious mind.
Couldn't go into his, like...
You know, here, I tell you what. If you roll 40, that allows you to go into the subconscious. I'll allow that.
Okay.
Okay.
So roll everything.
Yeah, and spend your endurance for it. So your last one would have been 6, right?
Right.
Which you
yeah, I got it down.
Got it down. Okay. So let's see here. Come on, baby. Ooh, that looks better. So what is that? The reason it's so tricky is to find batches to make it 10. It's easier to count 10, 20, 36.
That one was on the corner.
37, 38, 39. Oh, so you're probing around in this fallen ancient Nazi's mind, and you can't quite grasp. You're seeing a bunch of different shit. You're seeing like vacations at Eagle's Nest. You're seeing I think he killed a superhuman during the war too. So you hear the horrible snap of a British superhuman's neck in his bare hands, which you feel the sensation for that. You see him in America as well too, purchasing this place, because it's in his name but in a different false name. Give me another try. Steve, what do you want to do for this next turn?
I think recover.
Okay, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and give it another roll. See if you can beat 40 this time. Here we go.
Yeah, I'll try one more time, and then we should recover and move.
Okay.
Any idea of how to give me luck on this one, or?
Yeah, I'm afraid my luck doesn't spread very far.
Okay. Oh, I'm not so lucky here.
10, 20, that's 33. It's tough. It's tough trying to reach this thing. You want to try again? Then you got at least 2 more actions before he gets a post-12 recovery.
So that would take me down to 27. Yeah, I'll do it one more time, and then if I spend action 12 recovering, then I'll be full up for next time.
Nice.
Okay, I'm gonna try one more time here.
Okay, do it.
I've learned a lot about this guy. I have a very good. I'm like could go write a thesis on World War II at this point.
That looks a little better. Holy shit.
Okay.
10. There's 20. There's 30.
Here's 40.
30. That's 5. 6, 7, 8, 9.
Shut up! Really? 3, 4, 5, 6.
How close? It's a lot harder than it looks.
Son of a bitch.
So again, you're struggling. You can see sweats forming on your brow.
At this point, I've done it 3 times. I'm gonna go. This is not.
Well, you have one more round. You have 12, and then you have your post-12 recovery.
But then I only get 10 back, and I'll be down 27.
What do you think?
How
badly do you want to know?
Well, I guess we could take a bit longer to recover too, right?
Sure. Yeah. I'm going to recover again, I think.
You only left that ancient, Lopan-looking guy upstairs doing whatever the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, we're not too sure.
Yeah, what could possibly happen? Come on.
Right.
What do you want to do on phase 12, Steve?
Phase 12. Did I already recover twice, or did I?
No, you do another recovery on phase 12, and you also have your post 12 recovery.
I probably don't need that. Let's think about this now. Is there a way for us to get out of the way? Maybe stand in a stairwell or something, and then I can try to bring down the roof.
Sure.
Okay.
So you spend your turn moving back and maybe trying to move him back as he's concentrating?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Sure. Because when I'm going to need to take, what is it, round one of, phase 3 or whatever it is to recover. Otherwise, I'm going to be super, tired next round.
Okay.
But otherwise, okay, well, one more time.
Here comes, I got a good feeling about this. There we go. I may have been wrong with that. So there's 10. There is 20. There is 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Man.
And it's just not going to work.
It's just not going to work. So you can't.
Try.
It's Nazi. It's just too. So you make your way back, and Steve, you begin to reach out with your powers, and I'll tell you what happens.
Okay.
You have a clairsentient sort of flash to this ancient Lopan-looking dude who says in Japanese, which you understand, "Too late." The next thing you feel is just blinding white light, heat, and then blackness. So let's see if Steve's lucky to be the one to wake up first. I rolled a 6. Steve, you wake up. Your face is cold and wet. You look around. You're in sort of a blasted hole. And you tell it's a blast because there's trees. There's a couple trees that have been blasted back. There's a divot here. But apart from some of the foundation here, there's no cabin. Certainly nothing above you. And what's layering around you guys is snow. Freshly fallen snow, which continues to fall down. You look to your side, and amongst the blasted and ruined remains of the stairs, there is Agent O'Connor. There's no sign of Agent Davies. What do you do? Agent O'Connor is still unconscious.
Well, I go and I check him out.
Okay, you sort of shake him, so you get shaken awake, and you're now awakened as well.
Okay, I look momentarily flustered, but then my training comes back. So the first thing I would do is do a mind scan to figure out where the fuck everyone is.
There is no one. There's the two of you guys. You can't pick up anyone else in distance.
I'll try and reach out to Davies first. No, okay. I pulled my cell phone. I try and call Davies.
No service.
Uh-oh.
What do you guys do?
I use clairsentience to scan the region and see what I can pick up.
You scan the region. There is no sign of not only of any of the other guys. There's no sign of the road that you were on. The highway, stretching yourself back to there, is a gravel road. How far does your clairsentience reach? Let's see if you can make your way.
3,200 meters. How many years forward and backward to the region?
3.2 kilometers. I don't think it's quite. I'm going to say you really strain yourself, and you're going to spend just a shit ton of. So you'll spend 30 endurance to really push this thing as far as you can go. Back to that town, and as you're doing so, you're passing what appear to be antique vehicles. There's one ancient Ford truck, complete with those wooden slat sides that hold stuff in, rumbling along the street, but it looks new. And as you get to the town is remarkably transformed. This is way smaller. The place you left was probably, maybe a population of 3,000. This would be lucky to have 50 in it. But there is a diner there that has a calendar inside with the dates X'd out. Do you want to know what the calendar says?
Yes, I do.
That the date is January 21st, 1937.
Dun, dun, dun.
And guys, that's where we will end the session.
Love it.
Oh, when Matt realizes what he drops a lot of F-bombs repeatedly because he had the vision of time, the time travel. And once we figured out it, he's just like, fuck. As we walk, it's just like, fuck.
And then fire your gun into the air like until your clip is empty.
You gotta be careful. Those rounds may be a little pricey at this point.
Yeah, I don't know how. I'm assuming it's like a Glock 9mm. That might not be the most.
Yeah, it might be difficult to do that. Yeah. Okay. So, for those listening in at home, thank you so much for joining us for this. This is unfortunately half the length of time that I was going to run this for, but I'd like to finish up this adventure at some point because it is setting up what I'm planning to have as a Westmarch style campaign for champions that will allow people to drop in, drop out, and play superheroes as they feel they want to. But until that time, thank you so much for joining us. Steve, thanks very much for making it for Friday night. That was awesome. And if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding tonight's session, I fucked up a bunch of rules for champions. So if you want to point out what those fuck-ups were, please feel free to. Otherwise, we will see you again very soon. So thank you,